Astrology can help aid you on your healing journey. You have experiences and feelings that you need to heal through, and that's okay. It's normal. Sometimes, though, we feel like we don't know where to turn next or how to help ourselves next. And that's where astrology comes in. There are multiple parts of your natal chart that can help you discover what you need to heal, where you need to heal, and what may help you achieve this. And today, we're going to talk about one part, which is the 8th house. Hi, I'm Rachael, and I'm an evolutionary astrologer, and I'm so excited to be speaking with you through Nadiya Shah's YouTube channel. So let's talk about healing. I'd first like to show you an outline of what we'll be discussing today. So number one, I will describe the 8th house in detail, and I'll discuss how you can use it to help yourself heal. 2, I'll describe how you can use any planets that reside in your 8th house, and I'll connect that lesson to the sign that rules the 8th house cusp. 3, I'll describe how to use the planets that are transiting through your 8th house, as well as the progressed moon within your 8th house to your benefit. 4, I'll consistently bring it around town and show you how you can use all of this to help you on your healing journey. Finally, if you have any questions throughout, just remember that you can comment below. So what's the 8th house? What does it entail? The 8th house is commonly referred to the house of intimacy, death, and inheritance. The 8th house is anything taboo, anything that has to do with the occult, anything deeply psychological, and anything investigative. It all, in the end, has to do with merging and transformation. So let's explain what all of this means. When I say the word death, think rebirth. For example, a past traumatized part of you metaphorically dies, and then you are born again anew. This is a significant reason why we use the word transformation when we talk about the 8th house. Death is also associated with ghosts and mediumship. Remember, mediumship is also a merging of spirit and energy. And when I say intimacy, I think we all know what I mean when I say physically, right? But keep in mind, it entails all levels of merging and bonding between two people, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. The reason inheritance, taxes, stock market are part of the 8th house is because it's a merging of finances. The 8th house is also very psychological, and it's where we're psychic. For the word psychic, think this. Your psyche is merging with the energy around you. This also includes the art and practice of channeling. The reason the 8th house is scary is because it involves topics which scare us, especially if we're honest about them. I think it's safe to imagine that one of the things that scares us all the most are our own wounds and people seeing them. The 8th house can show us where our wounds are, but it also shows us how we heal. Psychological wounds are represented here, and this gives us insight into what our traumas may be, but it's important to remember that our ability to transform through our wounds and heal despite our trauma exists here as well. Sometimes a lot of energy is given to the negative sides of House 8, and while it's true that these exist, I think it's important to give equal, if not more time to the positive sides, which include all of the things I've already named, and most importantly, include your power. Although our traumas hurt us, they also give us the internal power that we need to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. As you've heard, the 8th house involves much more than just the topic of healing. But today, we're going to hyper-focus to understand all we can about this specific area of House 8. The sign that's on the cusp of House 8 and any planets within this house can give us insight into what would help you heal through whatever your wounds are. These show us the energy that would be most beneficial to you. It represents the energy that colors that area of life. The positive aspects of these placements give insight into how to create a positive healing area of life. Remember, Pluto and the South Node and Chiron can also give us insight into what you need to heal, but today we're only talking about House 8 so that we don't overwhelm anyone. The entire chart is karmic and it's purposeful, meaning your planets in 8th house are there for a reason. If your 8th house is empty, so there's no planets there, but no houses are ever truly empty, this is for a reason. If you have no planets in your 8th house, look at the sign that's on the cusp of the 8th house and find the planet that rules that sign, and then pay close attention when I discuss that planet. So let's talk about what each planet and the sign that rules the cusp of house 8 can mean for you. First and foremost, I'd like to note that I use the Placidus house system. If you feel more comfortable using a different house system, I encourage you to do that, but everything I say here will be based on Placidus. Also, I'd like to show you how you can find the sign that's on the cusp of house 8. As you can see on this chart, there are numbers in the inner circle, and that's how you know which house you're looking at. On the outermost circle, you'll see the glyphs of the signs. Whatever sign begins before the line for house 8 begins is the sign that rules the cusp of house 8. Everything revolves around the sun, so let's start there. The evolutionary healing goal of the sun in house 8 will involve intense inner work and bringing the hidden parts of your authentic self to the surface. The placement of the sun in your chart is where you require validation, where you want to express yourself, where you want approval, and where you need to create a positive self-image. For healing, it's important then to not shame yourself for your wounds. Accept who you are now and who you have become, despite these thoughts and feelings that you need to heal. Validate yourself. You need to look at your wounds in the eye and face them. Remember, your sun in house 8 gives you power if you take it. It gives you the upper hand over your demons. Rather than potentially looking at yourself as weak, work to look at yourself as the powerful being that you are. Express the hidden parts of yourself, the parts that you're fearful of others seeing, and have pride in yourself and who you are. Building your self-confidence rather than burying the hurt parts of you or judging or shaming yourself will help you both create a positive self-image and will help you to heal. I highly suggest affirmations, and I've written an ebook for you with affirmations for each 8th house placement. Take time to have fun and enjoy yourself doing the other 8th house topics that interest you, such as investigating the occult and anything taboo, being intimate with another person, and keep in mind that intimacy with others will shine light on your wounds. This happens because the universe is reminding you to take time to heal and express your authentic self, even if this self is wounded at times. Let yourself be seen. The evolutionary goal of the moon in house 8 is radical acceptance of your soul and inner state. The placement of the moon in your chart is where you require nurturing, where you need to feel accepted, where you seek understanding, and the area in which you need unconditional love. For healing, it's important to love yourself through your wounds, feelings, and mistakes. Accept the hurt parts of you and accept the parts that others have labeled bad or too sensitive. Work to not reject yourself. Sometimes our biggest rejectors and the people we need the most loving acceptance from is ourselves. Accept all parts of your psyche and soul, even the wounded ones that you feel are rejected by others, especially those. It's important to accept your emotions and allow yourself to feel what you feel. Care for your deep feelings and be tender with yourself. You'll find nurturing through other 8th house topics that I named in the beginning. The evolutionary goal of Mercury in house 8 is deep communication, introspection, analytical learning, and acceptance of hard truths. The placement of Mercury in your chart is where you require the Gemini energies of mental stimulation, learning, and communication, and the Virgo energies of problem solving, usefulness, improvement, and service. Meet your healing journey with a deep curiosity. Ask yourself the hard questions and dig deep for the answers. Communicate what hurts you and speak your truth. Communicate your needs to your intimate partners and share with them how they can support you. Try not to look at your wounds as a problem that needs to be solved. Improvement will be important to you, and you'll want to educate yourself and how you can best and most accurately heal. But remember that how you think is not a problem. How you think can be improved if needed, but you are also already perfect as you are, even while wounded. Educate yourself and make lists for how you can be useful to yourself in your healing. Journal your thoughts or speak them aloud to someone you trust. Educating yourself on different avenues of healing will likely be helpful. Find mentors who have already healed from the topics that you're hoping to heal. Ask for help when you need it, and don't try to find perfection all by yourself. It may lead to some self-criticism when you miss the bar you set for yourself. Your psychological health is important, and people exist who can talk you through the things that are hurting you. The evolutionary goal of Venus in House 8 is quite simply peace. The placement of Venus in your chart is where you require the Taurus energies of safety, stability, and comfort, and the Libra energies of peace, balance, companionship, and beauty. Your wounds likely give you a feeling of unsafety, so it's extremely important for you to find coping skills that help you feel safe within your own skin. Remember to pay attention to where you are right here, right now, and that you're safe within your body in this moment. Coping skills that provide you with comfort, such as a pedicure, a nap, a bath, are important to incorporate throughout your healing. Remember this simple phrase: eat when you're hungry and sleep when you're tired. Remember, life is a balance of good days and bad days, and we can find peace within the times of darkness. What brings you peace? Put a lot of effort into finding what brings you peace and giving it to yourself. There's beauty in suffering. We transform through suffering, healed and rejuvenated, and our inner beauty shows forth with more strength. And if you're at the beginning stages or the middle stages of your healing, keep in mind that you hold inner and outer beauty now already. And the intimacy you feel with yourself throughout your healing will be unmatched. Companionship with a safe person who you trust is important, because likely you've experienced people who did not make you feel safe and who you cannot trust and who hurt you. So you have to find those safe people now. Also, think of it this way: date yourself and be your own best friend. The evolutionary goal of Mars in House 8 is not to become a wounded healer like Chiron, but to become a healed warrior. The goal is to show the universe and others that you can survive. The placement of Mars in your chart is where you require freedom, action, independence, in the area in which you will one day feel you've survived. Try not to be reckless with yourself and with what you need to heal. Be assertive and active in your healing, and don't let it fall to the wayside. Don't let your desire to heal die. Don't push your core needs down. Your instincts about how and what you need to heal are correct, so listen to yourself. Approach healing like a battle and fight to win. Face off with your wounds and compete for the end goal, which is the positive evolution of your soul. Don't let the darkness win. The evolutionary goal of Jupiter in House 8 is an expansive belief and faith in your ability to heal in this lifetime. The placement of Jupiter in your chart is where you require truth, meaning, hope, justice, purpose, and expansion. You're meant to heal. Your purpose is to heal. You must understand this truth and find the hope within the world that so often teaches us the opposite of optimism. You're not meant to take, and it is what it is, mindset when it comes to your healing. You're meant to expand your mind, peer over the mountaintop, and realize that you've been graced with all the tools that give you one of the most important ideas in this life, which is hope. Don't underestimate yourself. You can understand an important truth, which is that your soul is more expansive than the darkness you face. Seek out teachers who can help you on your healing journey. Seek educational resources that can help you understand your pain in a new way, and incorporate your belief systems into your healing routine, such as church or spiritual practices. The evolutionary goal of Saturn in House 8 regarding healing is to be disciplined and focused and to do the hard work. The placement of Saturn in your chart is where you require perfection, excellence, success, accomplishment, structure, control, and authority. Your hard lessons will be in the 8th house areas. but so will your accomplishments and your successes. Deep introspective work is hard, but Saturn in your 8th house tells you that you're ready to do it. Difficult lessons, experiences, and karma involving intimacy and trauma are likely associated with this placement, and you've probably already experienced much of these. And please remember that you're not doomed to continuously repeat this pattern of pain and wounding. Look deeply at the lessons that these experiences want you to understand. Do the difficult, introspective, psychological work. Take a managerial role toward your healing and pretend as if you are a kind of boss of your inner child and you're perfecting the plan to achieve success in your healing. Make sure your ambitions include your own needs for self-intimacy. You're ready to accomplish the goal of the healing. That's why Saturn was put here by you. And remember, not everybody is ready. The evolutionary goal of Uranus in House 8 is radical progress in your healing journey, resulting in a larger understanding of the wounds that plague us all. The placement of Uranus in your chart is where you require awakening, perspective, change, progress, enlightenment, and liberation. Do what you need to do to heal and damn the rest. It doesn't matter if your wounds are odd or taboo. It doesn't matter if your healing journey is not like other people's healing journey. Do what's best for you. Think outside the box. Uranus says, screw those wounds. I'm healing them. Take the rebellious attitude toward what has hurt you, and you'll revolutionize the way you're able to heal yourself. You'll likely experience unexpected insight into what you need to heal and how you can do it throughout your life. The use of technology may be helpful, such as watching this YouTube video about healing, like you're doing now. All of the weird and wild subjects and experiences that you love will help you on your journey. So keep doing those and find the weirdos. Those are your intimate people. The evolutionary goal of Neptune in House 8 is to transcend your wounds through spiritual practice. The placement of Neptune in your chart is where you require transcendence, non-attachment, surrendering, forgiveness, and oneness with life. It's important with this placement to be consistently mindful of your wounds and to let them be your teachers. To transform through a spiritual healing practice is art. Try not to participate in escapism, to bury your wounds as to not confront them. Stay conscious throughout your healing process and incorporate a spiritual practice that will be healing for you. Try incorporating spiritual, religious, or occult practices such as praying, the tarot, moon rituals, church, and embrace your woo-woo interests and find the artistic dreamers. They'll help inspire you on the healing path. The evolutionary goal of Pluto in House 8 is to look your wounds in the eye and show your power. The placement of Pluto in your chart is where you require transformation, healing, cleansing, purification, regeneration, purging, merging, and power. Pluto, on top of the 8th house, gives insight into where your wounds lie and where you need healing. Your wounds are deeply connected to the 8th house topics mentioned at the beginning of this video. As mentioned earlier, the entire chart is karmic, which tells me that you experienced some dark realities in a past life, things that were hard to look at, and your soul is asking you to heal from these things in this life and claim your power. You must strongly confront your wounds and take your power back. You can't turn your back on them and hope they go away. They'll remain until you understand the power that you hold over them. This placement will require deeply psychological work, which you're ready for and strong enough to penetrate. This lifetime will involve a deep cleansing of the darkest parts of you for your soul power to shine brighter. The evolutionary goal of the South Node in House 8 is a deep understanding of the gifts you bring into this lifetime. The placement of the South Node in your chart is where you require an understanding of your karmic lessons, wounds, and gifts. It's important for you to use your South Node energies in positive ways because it's possible for us to fall back on old karmic wounds. You have a significant karmic history, past life history, surrounding the House 8 topics that I discussed earlier in this video. And often, when we look at the South Node, we think of the more negative manifestations of the house that it's in. The second house, then, will give you insight into how you can help yourself heal. You're seeking a feeling of safety in this lifetime. Seek out safe people and keep yourself safe within your own body and find coping skills focused on comfort and sensual pleasure. The sign of your North Node can also help you to better understand how to do this. The evolutionary goal of the North Node in House 8 is discovering new gifts that you hope to better understand during this lifetime. The placement of the North Node in your chart points to your soul's goals during this lifetime and to what your soul is striving toward. Use the energies of your South Node in House 2 in positive ways and strive for a deeper understanding of your karmic wounds involving safety, comfort, stability, and finances. Begin doing the deep psychological work necessary to heal through these karmic wounds. Remember that the North Node is what you are striving toward, and so it's therefore foreign to you in some ways. The energy is new. Do your best. It mainly matters that you're trying. If you have any planets squaring your nodes, work to positively integrate and transform the energies of the squaring planet into your gifts in daily living. Remember, if you do have planets in House 8, the sign of the planet will give you further insight into how you can use this planet for healing. Also, please keep in mind that a stellium in House 8 will make this area of life a more significant focus for you during this lifetime. Think of the houses like stages of a play. A lot of the scenes will be acted out on the House 8 stage, if you have stellium here. On top of using your natal planets in House 8 to aid you in your healing, you can also use transits when they pass through your 8th house. The transits we experience during our lifetime are fated in that they're meant for you to experience situations and learn lessons within this area of life during this time. But you're in control of how you experience these situations and how you use the lessons during the transit. Transits to the 8th house represent a transformational time of your life and give you the added opportunity to further your healing. You're being asked to look deeply at yourself, to be honest with yourself, and to stop hiding from yourself. I'll focus specifically on the transits of the outer planets, so Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. When Saturn is passing through your 8th house, you're being called to do the work. You must look at the wounds you need to heal and the transformations you need to make. You must make your healing plan and begin to implement it. You'll mature deeply during this phase, especially if the transit involves your Saturn return. What have you outgrown and how do you need to mature? Have you outgrown your old ways of dealing with your wounds and traumas? Probably. And it's time to transform into a wiser, more healed version of yourself. When Uranus is passing through your 8th house, you're being asked to rebelliously choose the healing you need and branch out from the status quo of others around you who refuse to look at their own darkness. What pressures have you been buried under in your life that have hurt you? It's time to dig your way to freedom. You're being asked to change how you have been approaching your healing and revolutionize the part of yourself that wants to remain the same. Choose yourself during this time. You deserve the healing, and you don't need to blend in with the rest of the wounded souls anymore. Remember, any feelings or experiences of chaos always lead to an awakening. When Neptune is passing through your 8th house, you're being asked to accept your reality and stop trying to control it. You're being asked to accept that you have wounds. Relax and engage in spiritual practices to bring you closer to yourself. Meditation, yoga, the tarot, and prayer will help you during this time. You likely have felt lost, and the universe wants you to find yourself again. Slow down and listen to your intuition. Spend time alone and listen to yourself so that you can hear the messages that Spirit is trying to give you. When Pluto is passing through your 8th house, you're being asked to cleanse, regenerate, and transform by taking an honest look at your deepest wounds and hidden darkness. Whatever has wounded you will show its face during this time, and you're being asked to stare right back at it. Don't turn away. You may feel the impulse to repeat these wounds, either from you to yourself or from someone outside of you to you. And remember, you can rewrite your history and transform that old wound into a lesson. You can choose to do things differently this time. Astrologers use progressions to help understand the frame of mind and current experience a person is having. Progressions of the moon help us understand what you're currently experiencing regarding your feelings, and in Stephen Forrest's words, where your heart is. The moon progressing through house 8 will again be a time of transformation. Your wounds will come up for you to look more deeply at and to understand. You'll confront parts of yourself that you've hidden away. Open yourself to the lessons of your wounds and you will experience healing. Love yourself despite and because of your wounds, and you'll experience healing. Take time to be quiet and experience quiet when you need it. That's it. If you liked this lesson and you'd like it in written form, it's under the blog tab on my website. I've also written an ebook for you with more details, which includes the planets in house 8 through all of the signs they could be in, which help you understand more in depth how you can use the planet for healing. The ebook also includes positive affirmations for each sign, which will help you to speak to yourself and experience yourself more positively, and which will aid in your healing. The affirmations pages are in printable form so that you can print off the ones you want and hang them on your bathroom mirror. I hope you liked this presentation and took lots of notes. And remember to comment below if you have questions. And thank you so much again, Nadiya Shah, for having me on your channel.